like I'll be talking and I don't know if we're actually live or not. And I just, so it's always nice to check. But hey, everyone, my name is Trevor Daly with MagMod. I believe we are live in the MagMod community. If you are seeing this, please let us know in the comments so we can make sure of that. But Shannon Cain, I am so excited to have you on the show. But before I introduce you to everyone, can I throw our little buffer up there?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. All right. Gotta start the show off right?
Yeah.
Shannon, this is exciting. Hey, tell everyone about yourself, where you're from, and where they can find you and all that good stuff.
Yeah, awesome. So I'm based out of New Braunfels, which is in between Austin and San Antonio. We are famous for Worst Fest, which is the salute to sausage.
I want to go to that now.
I know, it is so awesome. I mean, basically everybody just, it's a German festival. So everybody stands around and drinks their beer by the pitcher, eats sausage, and it's a great time. So anyways, yeah, it's based in between Austin and San Antonio. And I primarily shoot weddings. I've been doing it for about six and a half years now.
Nice.
So yeah.
That's 6.5 years. So, and I know we've chatted before, but I'm just amazed, Shannon, that 6.5 years and you are like so, I want to say technically talented, and I know you, you probably don't, I don't know. It's just when I look at your photos, I'm like, gosh, the lighting is so good and everything. It's so pretty. And I can't wait to show everyone your photos. Is there something that has kind of helped you along the way that you would say, okay, in the last 6 years, I was able to learn lighting and photography and how to use MagMod by doing this?
I'm actually not a technical person at all. So I really appreciate you saying that because it's something that I've just never been. But I have learned a lot from these How I Shot It videos. I know that I had talked to you last time when we did this How I Shot It and how I like binge watched all of the How I Shot It videos. And I think that I learned so much from that. Yeah.
I love that. One of my favorite comments last week, I think it was some burlap and oak or something on it was on Instagram or somewhere, but he said it was the is it Dre? No, not Drake. It was Drake. I'm so bad with but it was Drake where it's like the meme where it's like, is it that? No, it's this. And he says, it said photo school? Nah, How I Shot It videos. I got a kick out of it. But it's true. That's why I love doing these shows is because I get to learn so much as well. So I know we'll jump right into actually speaking of learning. We'll jump into that. But I wanted to mention something. You had talked a little bit about, how you learn this. One of the things that is really interesting to me and our Instagram account, right? I actually, if you guys see any comments or posting on Instagram, it's typically me handling it. I'm not the best at it. So be patient with me. But one of the things I find interesting is the insights in Instagram. About 2 years ago, it said that it was 2 years ago, it said 95% male audience, 5% female. And I was just blown away by that. Like, how in the world do we have so few females following MagMod on Instagram? And then I just happened to check it about 2 weeks ago, and it was now 74% male, 26% female. So, yeah. So I was like, hats off, shout out to the females out there that are following MagMod. And I think it goes a lot to say that there's people like yourself that are kind of showing like, hey, we can do this. This is not, because I think 5 years ago it was like, oh, the guys do the flash and the girls don't, they do natural light, whatever. And I'm so glad to see that changing because I think flash is one of those things that anybody can do. We know that. And it's funny that you say you're not a technical person, but is there something that you would, like a tip or something that you would share, whether it be with other females to empower them, whatever, with whoever, to help with flash?
Yeah, I think that starting off for me, flash was like off-camera flash was always super intimidating, just because I didn't really know what I was doing with it. And I think that key for me was realizing that if you can get your ambient exposure first and then adding in your flash to create is really what the foundation was for me, kind of that clicking moment of like, oh, okay. Because I think before I was trying to, have my flash and the ambient at the same time and adjusting my settings and not really understanding why I wasn't accomplishing what I had envisioned. And so that key was just really making sure you get that ambient exposure first add in your flash. And especially when you're adding in multiple flashes, having your ambient, add in one flash and then get that flash setting down and then add in that other flash, and so on and so forth. And so that was really key to me, kind of
Yeah.
learning off camera flash and getting that clicking moment. But then also, I feel like for me, once I learned that, it was really a problem solving thing for me. So, like, just being able to say, okay, how can I make my couple pop in this
Mhm.
environment? You know, what can make them stand out here? And so adding in flash, seemed to accomplish that for me. Or just even something as simple as like, how could I improve this moment?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, this is nice with natural light, but how could this moment be improved if I added in this little pop of flash or did this? So
I like that. What I love about what you're talking when you talk about like getting the ambient first and then just adding one flash and then the second flash and getting those powers dialed in, it makes it a lot less intimidating because sometimes we see people out there and they have 2 or 3 flashes set up. We're like, how do I manage all this? But if you just take it step by step, nice and slow, get that amp dialed in, et cetera, it
and
comes together.
practicing at home too, like
Mhm.
before your wedding. If you realize that there's something that you want to try that's new,
Yeah.
do it at home first. Have your, the best people. I have three girls, so practicing on my kids who are not going to listen to me is like the best thing ever, because that's essentially what like a dance party is like at a
Yeah.
reception or something along those lines. You've got all these moving elements, and so you kind of have to figure things out as they're going. And so I've learned that practicing on my own kids at home has been like the most beneficial thing for me. So,
I was going through some old photos the other day. I found literally the original photos of when I first started shooting off camera flash with my son Cash. I think it'd be fun to do like a how I shot it. Like these were the first time we all used flash and show those photos. It was they
oh
weren't
my,
they weren't terrible, but it was certainly like a practice mode, right?
right?
It was
Yeah.
using it on my kids. So love it, Shannon. Shannon, let's actually before we jump into your photos real fast, let's jump over to I want to show everyone your website. It's an incredible website, has so many beautiful photos. You had mentioned you're from New Braunfels, which is San Antonio, Austin area. Is that right? Kind of in there?
Yeah.
I actually pulled
Yeah.
up a Google map right here just because I was looking it up. Um, so, so you're over here, but you travel all of these places, right? It seems like I see you all over the place, which is incredible.
Yeah,
Um,
so I kind of accidentally branded myself as like an adventure wedding photographer. I do a lot of adventure engagement sessions,
mhm.
and adventure and things along those lines. So I've really embraced that because I love to be outdoors and traveling and going to national parks and state parks. So I've really started to incorporate that into my work, and my couples have completely embraced that. And so they're like, "Oh, where can we go next? Like, where can we do our session?" And I'm like, "Hey, the world is your oyster. Wherever you want to do your session, let's go."
That's amazing. I love that. I love that. Shannon, I want to also share your Instagram page, Shannon Cain Photography. Guys, be sure to go follow her. She is amazing. Her work is amazing. It's just absolutely so inspiring. So I love it there. So be sure to go check her out. I love that. Number one, fearless family photographer. What? What is
I
that?
actually think that I got booted down to number two now. I think Jason Vincent is now taking my place, but we'll see.
All right. Well,
We'll
we'll
see.
have to we'll have to bring Jason on and open up the friendly competition. Hey, I do see Jeff Wissell said, "Yeah, go Shannon." I hope you said your last name right there, Jeff. Guys, if you have any questions or anything for Shannon during this How I Shot It, please let us know. If you're watching this on YouTube, we actually do these live in the Facebook community. We're going to be doing them weekly, so be sure to join us. The Facebook community, just search MagMod Community. It's an awesome place. Be sure to go join us there. So, Shannon, with all of that, let's jump into the images. Sound good? So you know
Yeah,
what? I'm going to give
sure.
everyone a quick preview because I just realized I'm at the last one. So I'm going to open it and I'm going to back up really fast, and everyone's going to see all the images just quickly, and then we're going to go through each one. All right. Here we go.
That's right.
Oh, wait! I gotta go fast. I gotta go fast. Oh, there you go. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Let me hide us as well since you can see this. Shannon, I wanted to start with this one because I know you sent me some images. We have I think 4 or 5 that we're going to go through. But I want to start with this one because I feel like as a magician, this kind of shows the magic behind the scenes. And so tell us what's going on here, and then we'll show the result image.
Yeah, so this one actually took place. This is one of our adventure elopement sessions. So they actually eloped at Big Bend, Park, and then we were doing portraits. It was an incredibly windy day. As you can probably see, that it was super hazy, and that's because the wind just kicked up all that dust. So my go-to is usually the MagBox. I love the MagBox. But due to the wind, it just wasn't going to happen. But I also needed a lot of power this day because the sun was super bright. And so you could barely see the mountains in the background. So, as a problem solving thing, what I did was I actually did two 8200s on this one and then popped on two MagSpheres side by side. So, I actually have a stand right here to kind of give that visual because I don't know if you can see it very well. But this is what it looks like for my assistant, just with the side by sides of the MagSpheres.
Shannon, real
Because
quick,
I still,
before you put
yeah,
that down, can you show the back of it just so people can see? So you have two 8200s and they're both mounted side by side in the
on the Mag.
Nice. Cool. I love
Yep.
that.
So I still kind of wanted that nice soft light on them, and so I just put those on there. And the reason why I did the double 8200s was because I really wanted a lot of movement in their photos. And so in order to get that recycle time to go really fast, if you put the two 8200s on there and put them at a speed of like exactly what it was, like maybe 1/32 power or something like
Yeah.
that for both of them, that recycle speed is going to be a lot faster so that you can get that motion of them actually walking, or if you're doing a twirling shot, anything along those lines. So that's why I chose to do the side by side 8200s with both of the MagSpheres on there.
I love that. That's a really good tip as well, is even though you might have been able to accomplish it with one 8200, you wanted to have that fast recycle time. So it's better to put them side by side, shoot it at lower flash power and get that better recycle time. Great tip. Love it. That's awesome. I've never done the MagSpheres side by side like that. I'll have to try that out. I think you had mentioned the MagBox too. Another MagBox maybe with a focus diffuser might be a good option there. But I love that. I have to try that MagSphere. We
It
just need we need
was
one
just
big MagSphere,
super
don't
windy.
we?
We had the MagBox on there, and it was just sometimes when it is super windy, it can kind of act like a parasail, or become too heavy for the assistant, especially if there's two 8200s on there.
Such a great point.
And yeah, so that was like my simple solution to the wind, doing that, and with the adventure elopement sessions, I like to pack super compact.
Yeah.
So anything that is going to make my bag not as big while we're hiking, and it's beneficial. So
That's again, tons of great points. I love that. Jonathan Knight, he's commenting here. He's saying Jonathan's also he's a awesome senior photographer. I've seen a lot of his work. Good stuff. He's saying, yeah, a large one would be great. I need to buy another one now. So he just sold another MagSphere. No, I'm just kidding. And Natalie, she's amazing, doing some beautiful work out in, I think it was North or South Carolina, but she's watching as well. So we appreciate all you guys. Very cool. I love this. So this was the resulting image, and you were saying that you shot it quickly so you can get a variety of them walking and so forth. But I love, is there anything that you do when you have a couple walk towards you? Because I see they're looking right at each other. And I love when they're not camera aware, when they're not looking at me. But is there anything you say, when they're walking, or how you get them to pose, this way, looking at each other? Any secrets?
this couple was actually super natural. So I didn't really have to give them a lot of direction, and that's always best whenever they can just be in the moment and kind of hang there. A lot of times that's kind of what I'm telling. Like I let them think that I'm working on something. I'm kind of like checking settings, and then when they're having a moment, that's whenever I'll like pop my flash on them or whatever, and just snag those little intimate moments. But this one, I just kind of said, "Hey, hand in pocket. You two be there for each other. Don't even worry about me. Just kind of connect and walk towards each other, looking at each other." And they did.
Yeah,
So
I love that. My go-to is always come walking towards me like you're drunk coming out of the bar, like bouncing into each other, and
the
throwing
drunk
arms.
face though, right? Because
Yeah,
sometimes they're like,
yeah, totally. You got to watch out for that. Very, very true. Elizabeth Lloyd, I love Elizabeth. She says, always beautiful work, Shannon. And then Jonathan, he'd asked, where is this? I think you said Big Bend. Is that right?
yes, Big Bend National Park.
That's cool. I love it. Right on. So Shannon, let's jump over this next shot over here. Another incredible photograph. Tell us about this one.
So this one was at the White Sands. This was an adventuring session. Another one that we do typically like to pack pretty light. But anytime that I can use the MagBox, it is just magical with its soft light. And this is with the fabric diffuser. The sun was beginning to set, and I wanted to really capture the colors in the sky. So we used the MagBox, and this couple in particular was really good at doing that little sexy dip. So I just let them do their thing and advantage.
That's awesome. That's great when you get a couple that can actually nail that.
And it's not as easy as I thought it would be because some couples are just not on it. But this one, they had it down. So
Love it. Love it. So you said MagBox? MagBox with the soft
yeah,
diffuser?
MagBox with the 8200 and the fabric diffuser. Yeah.
Nice. Very cool. Hey, I saw in the last picture, in the behind the scenes, your assistant was holding a monopod. Is there a particular monopod that you like, that you use?
It's actually this stand. It's not a monopod, but it is the cheetah stand. I think this one is the
Oh, okay.
C10.
Okay.
Yeah, and
They
I
just
have
hold
it
the
collapsed.
bottom.
I probably should get a monopod for their sake, but yeah, I typically
I
work.
love it. Do you typically use the same assistant on nearly every shoot, or does it switch up a lot?
No, I do switch out,
Uh-huh.
and I this is something that I was going to mention, especially in one of the photos coming up. But I basically just kind of train people on the spot sometimes even. I'll grab like a groomsman or a bridesmaid or a dad who's always wanting to help. I feel like the dad is always just like standing there ready, like wanting to do something but not really knowing what to do. And so I've grabbed like the groom's dad before and said like, "Hey, can you help me out for this?" And then I model it for them and kind of tell them this is where I need you to put it at. And they usually are like, "Got it." And they want to help and they want to do good at what they're doing. And so they're really going to try hard. So,
You
yeah.
know, I think I love that. I think there's some psychology, and I'm no psychologist, but I think there's psychology about where when you are able to get someone to help you, they like you
Mm-hmm.
more or something. There's some principle behind it. I don't know what it is exactly. Somebody watching, please let us know. Comment below. Let us know what it is. But
Well,
there's
and
some
then when you ask them at one point, and then like it seems like the rest of the day, they're like, "Hey, do you need my help? Do
yeah,
you need me to help you?"
yeah, because they absolutely love you. They fall in love with you, and so it's so important. Don't deny people that opportunity to like you. Right? It's like give them an opportunity to help you, and they like you even more. So I love that. It's a great tip. Hey, Moira LaPlante, which we absolutely love, Jesse Moira. She has saying hair. Oh no, I'm sorry. Jonathan said this. Jonathan said hair highlight is fire with the sunset. We'll go back to that picture. And then Moira was saying that she loves the cheetah stands. That's what it was. So again, I always like to mention who's watching and commenting and so forth because it's kind of fun just to I love to see where people are always watching from. In fact, if you guys are watching, let us know in the comments where you're watching from. So it's always fun. But Jonathan's right. That hair rim light is fire right over here. Is this all like this flare and everything? Is this all natural?
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
Wow, love it, love it, love it. Shannon, tell us about this one. Talk about fire.
This was another one of our adventure engagement sessions. This one was in Georgia. The groom was actually stationed in Georgia, so we flew out there and then went to a state park and hiked down to this waterfall. So this one in particular, also we wanted to pack light for these sessions because there's often a lot of hiking involved.
Mm-hmm.
And so this one had like a big elevation loss and gain in a short distance, like in a mile or so. And so it was a serious hike. But for this one, we started off a little bit further away from the waterfall. And then as the session went on, we got closer and closer to it because we knew that they were going to get pretty wet at some point. And so I ended up having my go behind my couple because there was a lot of precipitation coming up from the waterfall. And I really wanted to make sure that that got backlit. And so down here where this waterfall was, because we had to hike pretty far ways down to get to it. It was a little dark and it really created this nice blue just just gave it like this blue tone. And so I wanted my couple to pop from the scene. And I knew that putting a quarter CTO and I put a MagSphere on there and backlighting them was not only going to backlight them, but it was that nice little warmth behind them and light up all of that precipitation behind them too. So
That is insane, Shannon. Such a pretty shot. This is like one of those shots that needs to be. In fact, actually, somebody said it. I think it was Jonathan that said it. He said it needs to be framed. I'm looking over here at my picture. It is. It's
I
such a
asked
beautiful,
my couple, I said, hey, is it weird if I like frame a photo of you in my house?
right? Frame and put it in my house. I know. It's seriously such a beautiful shot. And what a cool place, and the way you just captured it with the light. It's such a simple setup. Just that one light. I went ahead and zoomed in on it here just so we could see it up close a little bit more. It's such a pretty shot. I just absolutely love it. And it almost seems like the way your light is hitting this rock and the rock kind of curving, it almost seems like that rock is helping that light come back. And then
Yeah.
I noticed that oftentimes when you get that mist in the air or dust in the air, it's like that light reflects off of that. It helps kind of illuminate,
Mhm.
the couple and things as well. So it's such a beautiful shot though. Great job.
Yeah.
Love it. Shannon, before we go on to the last two images, I want to just mention some of these comments. By the way, guys, remember when we used to throw up comments in the middle of shows, stuff like this, where we'd pop them up? Well, you see how it says Facebook user, and I can't actually see the name. Apparently, the Facebook group, it kind of closed down the API, so you can't actually, like, the software can't grab it. So I can invite people. There's a link that I'm gonna copy, and basically it's for Ecamm, and I'm gonna put this in the community so you guys can all see it. I'll put it in the bottom of the chat that we're doing right now. If you click that link, you are basically giving permission for Ecamm, which is the program we use, to actually see your face and name. Which is kind of nice, because then when we see your face and name pop up there, I don't have to look on my phone, and we can actually add your comments. So just for fun, I'm going to add it in there. But in the meantime, I'm going to do it from my phone. Where is our live? You know what? I'm just going to put it. Oh, sorry.
I'm actually flying out this weekend to go to Colorado for an adventure engagement session. And so the day before the session, we're going to go do a nice little hike. So I'm not exactly sure if that's Jennifer or Caroline, but we're going to go do a little hike before the session.
Um, so that was actually, I thought that was Jesse. Let's see. Yeah, that's
So.
Jesse. Yeah.
Well, he's shooting a wedding, so he's not going to be joining me, but he said he's going to do it another day. So
That's awesome. Well, hey, let me read some of these comments real quick, just before we go to the last two images. We have Jonathan saying he's from Ann Arbor, Michigan. We have Anne Marie Ford saying she's from Maine. That's rad. We got Sarah Bowles. She's referring to the talk about having somebody help you. So a few people commented on that. Sarah had mentioned if you want to get someone to like you more, get them to do a favor for you instead of doing a favor for them. It sounds backwards, but I think the principle is that it makes them believe they must like you enough to help you. Plus, feel good fuzzies. Also, not a psych. I think of the psychology. Natalie, thank you, Sarah, for that. Natalie says, shout out from Winston-Salem. Yes, Natalie was awesome. I had Natalie actually second shoot with me when I was out there, and she was such an amazing second shooter. She was so much fun and just awesome to be around. So huge shout out to Natalie. And Moira actually says, it's the Ben Franklin effect. He that has once done you kindness will be ready to do you another. Then he whom you, I can't read Ben Franklin quote. All right. I'm going to try this one more time. Ready, Shannon? He that has once done you a kindness will be more ready to do you another than he whom you yourself has obliged. I'm making myself look really bad. All right. Thank you, Moira, for that. So I guess that's what it's called, Ben Franklin effect. Jonathan says North Georgia Falls. Hannah says, oh, she's the one who said you need to print that Waterfall one. So yeah, good stuff. So guys, if you're watching in the community, I put the link for Ecamm. All that does is so that you click it once, and then from now until forever, if you ever make a comment, it pops up, and I can actually add it to the screen as well if you would like to do that. So, Shannon, let's go right over to the last two images here. And so we got this one, and tell us about this shot here, which is an amazing, looks like groomsmen. Is that right?
yeah, so the groom is right there in the center, and you've got the groomsmen, and this is actually the one that I invited the dad's dad, he was just kind of standing around like, what do I do? I'm just going to come hang out with the guys. And so I had seen just the way that the lines in front of the venue were, and I knew I wanted to do something really cool, and I knew it would make some sort of cool groomsmen shot. So I did all of the normal shots that I normally do, and then I had about 5 extra minutes, and I said, hey guys, I want to try something. I'm really sure if this is going to work, but we're going to do it anyways, and if it doesn't work out, then you'll never know. It's fine. But anyway, so they were like, yeah, cool. We'll try something out. So I said, hey, this is how I want you to stand. And then I grabbed the groom's dad and I said, hey, I just want you to come and I want you to light the guys, just like this. And I modeled it for him exactly how I wanted him to do it. And I said, all right, guys, y'all stand, all of you just kind of stand still. And then when it's your turn, we're going to light you and you just smile. And so I was like, we're going to light individually. And so what I had the groom's dad do is go and individually light each one of the guys. And I would take a couple of photos and then keeping the focus still the same. And then I would have him move on to the next guy, take a couple of shots, move on to the next guy, take a couple of shots, and then same with the other side. And then he moved down the line. And then in post-production, I brought all of those photos together. And so this is the final outcome.
Love
so
it.
it's a composite.
Yeah. And so for this composite, you said it was MagSphere, MagGrid?
Yes, MagSphere, MagGrid, and a quarter CTO.
And a quarter CTO. I love that. It's such a great one. Did you shoot a plate shot as well? No. And then also one of the questions that always comes up whenever we do these, and if we don't ask it now, it's going to be asked in the comments, is did you use a tripod for it?
No, because this was just kind of one of those things that I was like, hey, I want to try this out. Didn't have a tripod, only had 5 minutes to pull this off. And so it was just like, well, works out, then great. And if not, then we're going to pretend like it never happened.
I love that. That's awesome. So I threw up Anne Marie's comment and I want to show you guys, that's what it looks like when you guys got that link that I put in the comments there. And so now from now on, Anne Marie will always, I can see her photo and her comment. So appreciate Anne Marie showing everyone that example. Shannon, what I love about this shot too is that a lot of times people do this with this, which is a little bit harder to nail that light perfectly, especially if you have like a dad or someone helping you. And so I think this is a great tip for everyone, just to remember that, hey, the grid is going to give you that focused light and you can get that same look and not have to worry so much about being perfectly pinpointed right on them. So good stuff. One last thing, I noticed the shadows are not stretching far, and that sun must have been almost right overhead. Is it like maybe 2 p.m. or so? Do you remember? It was
midday. So the sun was super bright, and which you can kind of see where the little sun flake is kind of coming down from there. Super outside.
So when you do something like that at 2:00 midday or 1:00, whatever, how do you remember like what your flash might have been at, or where maybe you even start the power at?
It was yeah. So I always will start somewhere around 1/32, and then I just adjust from there. But if I know that it's like midday sun or something, I know that I'm going to be close to full power.
Got it.
So it'll usually start somewhere around there.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Jessica Martell says gorgeous. Michael Jones says love it. Appreciate you guys. Thank you again for all your comments. All right, with that, let's jump over to our last image. It is this one here, one of my favorites. Tell us about this one.
So this one was my couple that was at the White Sands, same couple from the White Sands before. And so this was actually kind of a funny story. We had already wrapped up our session. The sunset wasn't really as great as we were expecting it to be. There wasn't a lot of color. And so I said, hey guys, I think we got everything that we're going to get tonight. If y'all are ready, we can head back and go to dinner, maybe do some nighttime photos later. And they were like, yeah, that sounds great. So we actually packed up our stuff and we were heading back to the car, and my couple was kind of behind me, and I went to turn to just say something to him. And when I turned around, the sun had already set, but it was created this gorgeous, just fiery sky. And I was like, oh my gosh, stop where you are. We have to do something. And so they were like, okay, well, like, can I go to the restroom real fast? Like, kind of have to go pee. And I was like, nope, we don't have time for that. So they were like, all right, well, what do you need me to do? So quickly, I had my assistant grab out an 8200, a teal gel and a MagSphere and pop it on the flash. And I got him close to the sand dune and just had that flash pointing at the sand dune behind them to make them illuminate. And I really liked the teal gel because it was the orange sky, so it gives that nice contrast for my couple and kind of brings that attention to them.
It's funny as you're describing this. I'm shaking my head because I'm like, man, that's just so pretty. It's just I love, and I think that teal really just does it for me. I don't know if any other color would have just stood out quite as much as that teal. I imagine when you told your assistant to grab, the 8200 and the gel, were you like immediately like trying to decide which gel, or did you know immediately like which one to go with? And if so,
Yeah,
how did you make that decision?
yeah, I knew that the complementary colors of the orange sky.
Yeah.
I think that the teal was like the one that it could have been blue too. But the teal was the one that was closest on there and she was able to pop it on there. So I knew I wanted that bluish color on there to complement the orange sky.
Yeah. I think that's what I love about that shot is those complementary colors. And if you're not if you're watching this and you're interested in what that means, complementary colors, just Google complementary colors and you'll see this color wheel. And the biggest thing is if you pick two colors across the color wheel from each other, like orange and teal, then those typically work really well. In fact, you see this a lot in films, in the big films these days where they use orange and teal a lot. But dang, it works so good here. I just love it. Anything, what was a prompt? Or do you remember what you told a couple in order to get her to kind of hold her dress out and do that little thing with the silhouette? Because oftentimes I feel like my silhouettes are just bland where they're just, holding hands, looking at each other or whatever.
Yeah, like silhouettes are kind of stale sometimes too. And so, especially when you're in a rush or in a bind, you're trying to figure out what it is that you want them to do.
Yeah.
But I feel like when the girls have like a flowy dress or something of that sort, something that helps a little bit is by having them hold that train out a little, or even I'm sure people have seen this lots of times, but holding that arm over the shoulder. Sorry, trying to get this in the frame. This isn't awkward at all.
I think I'm gonna
But
use that as the thumbnail right there, where you had your hand out. That'll be the thumbnail for Shannon how I shot
yeah,
it.
please do. That would be accurate. But yeah, so just having them drape their arm over the shoulder.
Mhm.
We actually tried a few different things, and because we literally only had this light for just a couple of minutes, and
Yeah,
so we did a couple of twirling shots to see how that worked out. She did get delivered one in the final gallery, but this ended up being my favorite one, just the way they were kind of looking at each other, and she was
yeah,
holding the train behind her. So
so pretty. Love it, Shannon. Your work is amazing. I absolutely love it. I want to make sure we bring this up one more time in case you missed in the beginning. Go check out. Here's her website, Shannon Cain Photography.com, and then of course her Instagram is the same, Shannon Cain Photography. Go give her a follow. Go check her out. If you know somebody getting married in Texas or wants an adventure elopement, got to give Shannon a call.
yeah,
She does an amazing job.
yeah.
But Shannon, the biggest thing for me is again, I like I say this every time. It's probably like a broken record. You guys hear it, but I just love these shows because it just reminds me of some of the simple things that we could be doing to just take our photos from the ordinary to extraordinary. And you are like a perfect example of that, where you're just sometimes it's like a silhouette light, a simple light behind them, like the waterfall shot or the sand shot, but it just adds so much, and you just do it so well. So thank you so much for sharing your talent with all of us.
Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. It's such an honor.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, thank you again for watching. And we're trying to do these on a weekly basis. I have a number of amazing photographers that I look forward to getting on the show. But if there are people out there that you're like, hey, Trevor, you need to talk to this person. They're using MagMod and they're absolutely killing it. Feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you and learn more about who these people are. So with that, thank you again, Shannon. You're amazing. And if you haven't already followed her, go give her a follow, everybody. Thanks, Shannon. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right. Take care, everyone. Have a good one. Bye bye.